Good morning. So good news. I'm able to fit this shirt. I got this from across the street. So here's the good thing about this neighborhood. We live across the street from a strip mall. Uh, so I get okay. Here's the history. It's a strip mall now, or outlet mall. So you walk there, everything's outside, and I mean, you talking about like all kinds of stores. Like this, I got at Nautica, which is one of my favorite clothing brands. Sponsor me, Nautica. I love your clothes. I don't know. I just ever since I was a little kid, I always loved Nautica. And there's Nike. Sponsor me, Nike. Love your shoes. I've been rocking those since I was a little kid. But they got all kinds of stores there. But I mostly go to Nautica and Nike. Growing up as a kid, it was a mall. It was a Simple Simon Mall, the Palm Beach Mall, which does not exist anymore. And it blows my mind, right on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard. And we used to go there like all the time. Like when you walk to the main entrance, there was an arcade on the right, and in that arcade was they had the Simpsons video game, and there was another video game. This was before Mortal Kombat. It looked like Mortal Kombat. I wish I could remember the name of it, but like the graphics were really similar to Mortal Kombat, and it scared the crap out of me. And I loved playing it because it looked so realistic. I'm like, dude, how did they do that? You know, this was like the like 1990. You know, I'm just like, dude, how did they do that? And then, and that mall was also the first time I'd ever seen an Infinity car. They used to have cars in that mall, and I remember walking in there and seeing an Infinity, and I thought it was the most amazing thing in the world. I was like, oh, this is such a cool looking car. And yeah, and I remember that. And I remember going to the food court, because you would walk in. If anybody here from West Palm Beach, like old school people, and you remember the layout, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So it was shaped like a big T. And so you would go in, and right in front of you, I think the first store that was there was maybe a Burdine's, but eventually it turned into a Lord and Taylor. But it was like straight ahead. But then if you go to the right all the way down, you end up at, oh God, this is throwback. You'll have the food court on one side, and right on the other side was a Woolworth. The store doesn't even exist anymore. But that's where I got my first Nintendo. It was Woolworth. Oh my God. This is so throwback. But that's also the place where I had my first steak ever. I ate my first steak when I was, I want to say 12 or 13. It was me and three of my cousins. My mom dropped us off at the mall because we wanted to watch this movie. I think it's called The House Guests with Sinbad. And what's the guy? He's so funny. He passed away. Phil Hartman. And I enjoyed it. I don't remember if it was before or after, but we were there at the mall, and like I had freedom, and I looked at the menu, and I was like, I'm not gonna order vegetarian. There's no vegetarian options. There were way less, damn near non-existent vegetarian options at most restaurants, and so we went to this restaurant, and then I looked, and the guy was like, yeah, I want the steak. And he's like, how do you want it cooked? And I'm like, what does that mean? And the only thing I knew was well done. I didn't know any better. But I enjoyed that damn steak. I mean, it came out, I inhaled it. And there was a time before, I would say in my 20s to like, so I'm doing the responsible thing. After eating, I am going for a walk. In the past, when I've done this, kudos to mom, because I was about to go lay down. So, you know, it's pretty hefty steak with some chicken wings. Because it's a workout eating that steak. But it's so damn good that you don't even think about it until your jaw's too tired. Maybe early 30s. If I were to eat a steak, it had to be well done. Like, it just had to be well done. Because I believed the lie that I didn't understand how clean beef was. So I was like, yo, this has to be well done. And then when I did some research and did some education, I was like, okay, yeah, you can damn near eat it raw, especially if it's grass fed, you know. And so I started eating it medium, and then I started salting it good. You have to salt your meat. But yeah, that was the first place I ever had a steak. I don't know. I want to say that's the first time I ever had beef. I was 12. First time I ate beef, I was 12. That's crazy. Is that? Because, you know, my mother ate meat growing up. She ate meat when I was growing up. So she would cook like chicken and fish mostly. She didn't really cook beef that often. But her friends would. Oh no, that wasn't the first time I had beef. Okay, so this is how bad I was brainwashed into the whole vegetarian lifestyle. My dad was like really bad with like, I mean, not letting me eat a vegetarian, or not letting me eat. I attempted to walk around the entire block, but my back is killing me. I don't know what that's from. My legs aren't uneven. I don't know. But it's my lower right back. It's killing me. Meat. And I think what made it bad is that our social circle was kids that ate meat. And so clearly I felt alienated. I hate telling people that I was vegetarian. And I always had a complex about it. I mean, it was the same thing of having a complex about being uncircumcised. Cause like everybody I knew, that sounds weird. Everybody I knew was like circumcised. Like, you know, we're kids, you know, you like in the gym and stuff like that. And so I was just like, what am I doing with this extra skin? And so I just had a complex about that. So I had a complex about extra meat and a complex about no meat. It's so stupid. Anyways, so so this is the first time I had beef, like for sure. We had a barbecue, and this is the social aspect I'm talking about. And my dad invited a bunch of people from the church, from the Adventist church, and they all ate meat. And they brought over hot dogs, chicken, mostly just chicken, hot dogs, and burgers. I think it was burgers and chicken. I don't know if they had hot dogs. And then my dad had a can of these damn veggie links. And he's like, "This is what you eat. You eat this. You eat this right here. That you don't eat that. And you don't eat that dead animal." You know, tried to. And then when they started cooking the meat, my mouth was just salivating. And I don't remember what happened, but I snuck one of those burgers. And I ran into my parents' walk-in closet, and I ate like maybe a third of it. And I think my mom called me. Somebody called me, or I got distracted, and I put the burger down in the closet and I hid it, and I ran out, totally forgot about it, right? Fast forward maybe like, I don't know, 2 weeks later, we're traveling, and we're traveling with my mom's friend, and I got upset with my mom about something. And you know, as a kid, when kids get upset, they do this thing. And so I did that, and the lady just egged me on. She was like, "You do that, your face is gonna blow up." And I was like, "Shut up, you dummy." And then when we got home, My mom gave me a spanking, and it was like an epic spanking because like I tried like running and I ran into the closet, and when I ran into the closet, I saw the burger, and I was like, holy shit! I know I'll get like a double spanking if I see that burger, and I ended up like hiding it and still like crying like, I was like trying to cry louder to like hide the fact that I found the old burger. And like I was a kid, I didn't know any better. And so I went back and I want to say that I ate that old ass burger. I think I did, I'm not sure. By that time it was like gray and stuff, and then I might have thrown it out. I don't remember, but I know that I saw it when I got spanked, and I thought, like looking back, I thought that was hilarious. But that was the first time I ever had beef, and I think around that time was also the first time I had pork. I remember there was a kid in that apartment complex I used to hang out with, and my dad had to go to work, and then so I hung out with him the whole day, and his dad watched us. And so we stayed home. We stayed in this house, and I think we went to the pool a little bit, and then we went to play some Nintendo, and then his dad fed us ham and cheese sandwiches. And I mean, like, I think I might have had two. I was like, oh, this is so good. Oh my God. And him being a responsible parent, like he didn't know like my father's stipulation on me, because like it wasn't, he didn't know. So he's just talking to my dad. He's like, yeah man, they had a good old time. They swam, they went play some Nintendo, and I fed them ham and cheese sandwiches. He's like, hold on, you fed him ham and cheese sandwiches? Like, yeah. So, you're not supposed to eat meat, especially not pork. He's like, you know better than that. And then he spanked me for eating the ham and cheese sandwich, which, oh my God, that's crazy. Yeah, I got spanked for eating a ham and cheese sandwich. And so there was really no freedom with food growing up. And so I rebelled eating meat. I even talk about this in my stand-up comedy routine. So that was the first time I ever had pork. And then still eating this bullshit ass vegetarian meal. And meanwhile, this is what tripped me out. They say that the vegetarian diet is like the best diet, and a good percentage of Adventists are vegetarian, but there's so many fat and sick Adventists. Look at me. I was fat growing up because I'm eating all that inflamed food, the Prosages, the chocolates, the scallops, the Salisbury burgers, the grillers, the bologna, all of that stuff. I will say that some of it was good. They did good jobs, but it's just not good for you because it's loaded with just all kinds of nitrates and chemicals and here's the thing. I later on realized that the purpose of those foods were transition foods so that you can eventually go to a whole food, plant-based diet. I didn't realize that these were lifelong foods. So I had no business eating that shit because, if I grew up vegetarian, just grow me up on whole plant-based foods, which is still lacking in nutrition and that I need, but still, yeah, and it just goes to show you how much of a meat eater my dad really was. My dad was a meat eater, and he got duped in to a bunch of bullshit, like believing that the Democratic Party are for black people, and believing that he's supposed to be vegetarian. And I know what I said is controversial. I believe it. I'm sticking with it. Fuck it. If you don't like it, move on. Whatever. So, so he when he met my mom in like the 70s, this is like way before I was born, he ate meat. And I think he might have just eaten chicken and fish or whatever. And I think he said, the last meat he gave up was hot dogs because his cat stopped eating the hot dogs. And he said, "Oh, this is bad." And I was like, "Okay, I don't know. I really don't know." I mean, the cat could not want to eat for a number of reasons, you know. So, and then, and so I think by the time I was born, the doctor saw that I had spina bifida and I had, the hydronephrosis in my one kidney and had it removed. And I think he was under the notion that, oh, well, since he's got this kidney thing, he can't eat meat. So they put me on this bullshit ass vegetarian diet. And it trips me up because out of all of my siblings, I'm the only one as well that had to eat a vegetarian diet. Like my older half brother eating whatever he wanted. Older half sister, even though I didn't see her much, I'm sure she ate what she wanted. My little brother, who was born 12 years after me, ate anything he wanted. And it's just like, and I think that's why he's like a few inches taller than me. It might be genetics too, though. But he's like in his 20s, and he's a few years, a few inches taller than me. But that's kind of the way it goes with siblings, though. The younger brother is usually taller. But yeah, man. I mean, that whole thing of my siblings being able to eat meat and me not being able. I mean, and then he was also clipped down there too. So you can imagine how marginalized I felt. Like, and my older brother. It's like, what the hell about me that you guys make me so different than everybody else? I don't understand. And there is some good news at the end of this. I'm still going through it, so I'm sure there's good news at the end of this. But I will say that more recently than before, my mother really started saying that I'm marked by God, like in a good way. I'm marked. There's something special, and I wasn't gonna say anything, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Yesterday we visited a friend of ours. She's one of my mom's friend that kind of like had her hand somewhat in raising me. Like, she used to feed me and change me and wash me as a baby and stuff. And she's a nurse just like my mom, and she's sick with diabetes, and she has diabetic retinopathy. She has to get surgery. I mean, she's like almost completely blind, and I mean, it's sad. And I spoke to her about the proper human diet because she's seeing a naturopath, and this naturopath is talking to her about doing plant-based nutrition. And ever since she's been doing it staunchly, she said, it's not helped. Her sugars are still out of whack, and also her vision has gotten back. Matter of fact, she had to leave her car in a parking lot and take an Uber home. That's how bad her vision got, and that's scary. So we went and picked it up, and we went out to Five Guys yesterday, and we're eating and talking, and she said, you should be a naturopath. And I was like, how you know that's what I wanted to do like 5 years ago? That's literally what I was looking into 5 years ago. And she was like, yeah, I see you doing it. And she really encouraged me, like, to really look into it. And I think the only reason I didn't do it when I was younger is because, school was school. I was only thinking about money when it came, because I did pre-med when I first got into college. And I was just like, and I didn't do well at all. So if I do this, I have to start all over again, which I'm totally fine with. And so it was like, yeah, I just did it because of the social aspect. I wasn't ready. I wasn't mature. I wasn't nourished enough. So I didn't have the focus and the ability to focus on on what I needed to learn the right things. So she really like honed it in, and I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I feel better. I mean, all I do now. If you know me, I like to learn. Like, I have a wide variety of things I'm interested in. It doesn't show now, but I can be quite garrulous. Garrulous, another word is verbose. I like using long words. I don't use them as often as I should. But hey, what up, cuz? That's my cousin right there. Friton, what up? And that's my neighbor there. Yeah, but I mean that's, and I mean, since I've been doing this Perfect Human Diet, I've been consuming content from, like, you know, Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Rob Kiltz, and I've been listening to debates, and it's just blown my mind. And I'm trying, and I know I have an ability, I have it within me to be a bit of a Nazi when it comes to when I have an ideology that I really believe in, and I'm trying to not be like that. I do want to encourage people that I love and that are in my life to take advantage of the knowledge that I have and do what I do, but people have their own lives, people have their own reasons for things, and you know, like let people live. You know, I don't want to be like people like my dad, who constantly would just make comments, "Oh, you eating that dead meat?" And it's just disrespectful, man. Like, you know, let people eat what they want to eat, man. You know, like, leave them alone. So I'm really trying hard to be that way myself, to like not like do that, you know. And if people eat what they want to eat, just realize that eating is a social experience when you're doing it with somebody, and you do it to bond. You don't do it to judge and to make people feel bad for making their choices. And so I think the best way to go about it is the same way you would do if you're like a Christian. You don't like shove it down somebody's throat. You live an example. So when people start seeing me thrive, and like they're like, "Oh man, you look so good. How do you do it, man?" And I just tell them, like, "Hey, this is what I do. This is the life I live." It's like, "Oh man, can you teach me?" Absolutely, man. You know, and I'll be able to show them. And I think, you know, doing this program in terms of like doing the naturopathic medicine, it's right up my alley, because I'm well vested in allopathy. I've had experiences since I was a kid. I've had over 20 surgeries, and some doctors I get into debates with. I'm like, dude, this is like I got into debate with a surgeon, a vascular surgeon on stem cells, and he just, and yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like he was young, and you know, stem cell, like, I'm sure he studied stem cells, but that's not. He was a vascular surgeon. It wasn't like, I don't think it was his like specialty, and so he kind of like was very limited in his obduration. Yeah, he was limited in his obduration because he just kept saying, like, you know, like one phrase, "Oh, you know, there's not enough research," and then I kept rebuttaling him with more information. There's not enough research, and he was right to a certain extent, but also I wasn't fully educated on stem cells. I'm still not. I'm still got a lot to learn, but that just kind of shows you how after a while I started taking my own health into my own hands. And you have to, regardless if you go to a naturopath or a regular physician, you got to take your health in your own hands. You know, I think you are your own best doctor. The body knows what's going on. So if you're a doctor, you need to listen to your patients. You know, when you get doctors that don't listen to patients, or healthcare professionals that don't listen to patients, this is really bad, super bad bedside manner. You're a bad healthcare professional. I remember being in the hospital in Georgia, and I was getting admitted, and this I think it was a nurse. He put a needle in my arm. However, it didn't go into my vein. I think it just went subcutaneously, and my arm started swelling up like a balloon. And he's like, "It's all right." I'm like, "Dude, I'm in pain." He's like, "It's okay, it's okay." I'm like, "No, it's not. Your patient's not supposed to be in pain. When your patient's in pain, like, you know, like you need to do, pain is not good. Like, you know, like, I mean, there are rare instances where pain is inevitable, but the thing is, you're supposed to alleviate the pain. You know, like, or if there's a procedure that is painful, you'd be like, "Hey, I'm just gonna let you know that this is gonna be a little painful, but I'm gonna try to do my best to make it as easy as possible." Like, these are steps you take. When you as a phlebotomist, the only pain you should be dealing with is the initial prick into the arm, not your arm swelling like a balloon. So that guy was a complete cotton candy jackass. And so I requested a new nurse, and we got our shit self-situated. So that was off the chain. And on top of that, doing that to a dialysis patient, you're just adding fluid into the guy's body outside of the vein. I mean, it's just medical malpractice at its worst, or at its finest, for lack of better words. So yeah, that was my experience there. But yeah, so right now I'm waiting until it gets about 8:30 Pacific Standard Time to call this university in San Diego and get more information on it and really look into this. Really look into it. And let me know what you think in the comments below about this decision that I'm making. I didn't want to say anything, but I'm really excited about it. And when I'm excited about something, I tell everybody. So yeah. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, deuces.